The if and else statement is like the lifeblood of every programming language. If this happens, then do that. You've probably heard of that website, if this then that, or IFTTT. And it's basically a web app or an application you can use on your phone to test to see if a condition is met, and then it will do something. So for example, if the weather is greater than 30 degrees Celsius, then send me an email saying, get off your butt and go paddleboarding. Something like that. Or if my Wemo light switch is turned on, send me a notification on my phone to say, hey, your kitchen light is on. The if and else statement is considered a conditional statement. Conditional statements are used to execute different pieces of code depending on the condition. So here are the most common conditional statements. So here in this page, I created if-else.html. Go ahead and do the same. Basic structure. You can add a title if you want, level 1 heading, but give a div with the ID of box1 and just a script tag here so we can do some internal JavaScript. So first we're going to start off with the if statement. So the if statement looks like this. So we have if condition to be met. And then in here, so we have the JavaScript keyword if, and then the condition that needs to be met. And we'll get to that in a sec. And then in the curly braces, execute this code if that condition is true. So let's do a real world example here. Let's create a variable and we'll say var age, and then let's put my current age 26. So now the variable age has the value of 26. Now let's test to see if I am under 30. So if age is less than 30, we need to execute some code if that statement is true. So the condition that needs to be met is that age is less than 30. So if age is in fact less than 30, then document get element by ID, and we're going to select that box 1 that we got set up there, and we're going to do the inner HTML. And then we'll say, you're just a youngin'. And then I'm going to close that there with a string and a semicolon. And let's do another thing here. We've only been really modifying text and adding text, printing, text on the screen with JavaScript so far, but you can actually style and do CSS as well. You can modify anything in the document object model, and CSS falls under that category. So document, get element by ID, we're going to select that box 1. And instead of inner HTML, we'll do style. And now we have access to CSS. You just need to choose the property that you want. So color equals, and then I'm just going to say red. So now we'll check in our browser here to see if this works. So let's see what happens. There you go. You're just a youngin', red text, because the variable age is less than 30. What happens if we make the variable, let's say 49? What happens? Nothing, because the condition wasn't met. The condition wasn't true, and so nothing happens. That's the simplest form of an if statement. Now there's something else that you could do. It's called the else. And basically what that means is you tack it on to the end of the if statement, and it looks like so. So basically, if this condition right here is true, then do this code. Otherwise, do this. So you know how we just added the age is 49, and so it wasn't less than 30? Nothing happened. Well, this will catch that condition. So basically, this means code to execute if the first statement was false. So now what we'll do is I'm just going to copy this stuff up here and paste that. And now what we'll do is we'll change the inner HTML to say, you are older than 30. And then we'll change the color to green. Now let's see what happens. You are older than 30 in green text. So that works. Now there's another thing you could do here, and it is called the else if. And it goes in the middle here. So the else is always tacked on at the end of your else if statements, or your if and else statements. You can have as many else ifs as you want. Basically, you can make this if statement as big and as powerful as your wildest dreams. So else if looks like so. Curly braces, and then your else is tacked on at the end. So now what happens is it says, this condition, if it's true, do this code. Else if another condition, so a second condition, is true, then do other code. You can have another else if statement. You can keep going if you want. It just looks like, as long as you keep this syntax, condition 3, and then condition 4, condition 5. If you want that many conditions, you can do that. So If first condition is true, do this code. Else, if the second condition is true, do this. Else, if the third condition is true, do this. Otherwise, if none of the above are true, everything's false, then just do this. So we don't need all these conditions here in this example. So let's just keep it simple. We'll do a simple version of it. So we have if age is less than 30, do this. Else if, let's say, age is greater than 50, then let's do something else. So I'm going to copy these things just to keep with the same style here. We'll say you are older than 50, and we'll make the color, let's make it blue. And then else, we need to change this. It means that you were between the ages of 30 and 50, because it's checking to see. The first condition is, hey, are you younger than 30? The second is, hey, are you older than 50? And the last one here is just whatever, if these don't resolve to true. Basically, this means that if these are false, then you must be between the ages of 30 and 50. So you must be between 30 and 50 years old. And then let's keep the color green. So now let's just see what happens. You must be between 30 and 50 years old. That's right, because the age here is 49. What if you did 70? You were older than 50. Correct. What if you did 29? You're just a youngin'. That's the case because we have the variable age is 29. So we have, hey, are you younger than 30? Okay, maybe you're not. Are you older than 50? Oh, I guess you're not. That must mean you are between 30 and 50. Now, what happens if you change the age to exactly the number you're checking for? 30. It says you must be between 30 and 50. Interesting. It is technically correct, but what if you wanted to check to see if you are the age of 30 or younger rather than technically 29? So there's a bunch of different operators you can use. This is called a comparative operator. It's checking to see it's comparing between this and this. And you can use a number of different ones. You can use equal to. So if age is equal to 30, then it will do something. You're just a youngin' because you're exactly 30. Or what if you wanted less than or equal to? This is another comparative operator. You can compare to see if the age is less than or equal to. So if the age is less than or equal to, this should satisfy that statement, that condition. Now, what if you are greater than or equal to? So we could say else if age is greater than or equal to 50. So that means if we make this variable 50, you are older than 50. It is checking to see if you are exactly 50 or older. You can also do other operators, and I'll provide a link so that you can play around with those to see, just to see how it works. Feel free to play around with this. And like I said, the if statement is the lifeblood of every major programming language. And they might have different syntaxes, but they're essentially the same. If this, then that.